the two siblings snuck away and looked for a good place to hide. When they arrived at a nearby pond, they decided to hide there. Charlie said, "Kanhachi na, let's walk into the pond backwards so our footprints look like they are leading away from the water instead of down into it. This should be enough to confuse anyone looking for us." And so, the two carefully walked backwards into the water. They hid under the lily leaves and breathed through hollowed-out bamboo sticks. Vessantara called out to his children, thinking they were nearby. "Charlie, Kanhachi na, come here, your father summons you." However, there was no response. Chuchaka, seeing that no children were coming, said accusingly, "Sir, you falsely gave me your word. After I told you I would use them as servants and slaves, you must have given them a sign to run away. I would not believe you to be so dishonorable." Vessantara, remaining calm, said, "Do not worry, sir. I will find them." Vessantara looked down at the footprints leading up from the water. Then, seeing the bamboo and lily pads, he pieced things together and uncovered his children's ingenious plan. At that point, he called out to them, "My son, my daughter, come to me. The time for me to complete my final mission is at hand. Once I overcome this, the truth of the worlds of rebirth will soon be exposed, and freedom will be imminent." Charlie, hearing what his father said, remembered his mission. Charlie had dedicated himself for countless lives to serving the Bodhisattva by helping him reach and achieve all his goals. Charlie overcame his fear and came out of the water with his sister, ready to do his father's bidding. Back at the huts, Vessantara explained to his children that he was not doing this to punish them. Rather, they had always been the ideal children. This was a family sacrifice, the giving away of that which one values the most, that had to be made in order for the Bodhisattva to perfect the virtue of dana, or generosity. The heartless Brahmin Chuchaka grabbed some rope and twine and tied the children's hands together. He dragged them roughly and treated them without compassion. When the children resisted the treatment, Chuchaka hit them with his walking stick. Charlie, bleeding, looked back at his father and said, "Father, help us! He abuses us! Please, save us from this evil man!" Kanhachi Na also looked back at her father and cried, "Father, please! He's hurting us! Please, save us! What have we done to deserve this?" Vessantara could not believe what he was seeing and hearing. His first impulse was to spring to action and save his children and strike down this wretched man. His mind immediately went to his sword. How could a being be so cruel and heartless? Vessantara struggled to keep his anger and emotions in check. The children, bleeding and in pain, were being pulled further and further from their father. They desperately cried out for help. Vessantara thought, "What is this pain I feel now compared to all the pain all beings suffer during endless rounds of rebirth? Did I not tear out my heart and give my 2 children to this wretched being so that in the near future I could be born as a Buddha and help lead the way out of suffering?" If I take back my word now, I will fail the ultimate test, and thus fail in becoming a Buddha. The cost of failing is much higher than the pain I'm experiencing now. I must bear it and see my practice of giving to completion. He composed himself and centered his mind. As Charlie was being pulled into the forest, he struggled and fought as best he could. Chuchaka hit him, and Charlie cried without end. At one point, Chuchaka tripped and fell, and the children desperately tried to make their escape. However, Chuchaka caught them and beat them incessantly. The children, having never been treated this way in their entire lives, could scarcely bear the pain. After being beaten over and over again, something inside Kanhachina snapped. Her pain turned into anger, and then into resolve. She mustered up all the energy she had within and made a solemn aspiration. She said,
I refute all past aspirations and replace it with this. No matter in what life I'm reborn, may I never be reborn as the daughter of Vessantara ever again. He has forsaken me and given me away to a heartless monster. I wish to never be reborn into his family ever again.
Charlie, hearing this, desperately tried to get his sister to recant her vows. However, Kanhachina refused. Vessantara meditated and reflected on recent events. He understood that the path to becoming a Buddha was a long and difficult path that only a few can walk. He knew that this was his last life before his rebirth as a Buddha. The pain he was feeling here was real and intense. But this is just the pain of one life. Imagine the amount of pain we have endured and the countless rebirths we've experienced. It is overwhelming. However, it is that very pain that will drive us to find a way out and seek Nibbana, total liberation from attachment and rebirth. At that same moment, Mari was picking fruits and berries in the forest. Suddenly, she sensed something was amiss. She couldn't shake this feeling. Mari quickly ran back towards the huts, desperate to see if her children were still safe. However, knowing that Vessantara might not be able to follow through with giving away his children if Mari was present, Saka had some wild animals block Mari's path.
What did you learn from this story? We hope you enjoyed the video. Click like if you did, and click subscribe if you want to see our uploads.